Hey, today we're making cranberry walnut bread for you in the secret kitchen. This one, literally, I just took it out of the oven a few minutes ago. Oh, come on, look at this thing. Is this not fabulous? And this one I obviously baked a little while ago. I cut it up because I wanted you to see the interior packed with cranberries or craisins and walnuts, or you could even use pecans. This thing belongs on your brunch table, on your breakfast table. It's beautiful, it's delicious, and I'm gonna make it for you right now. Hey, welcome to Secret Kitchens of New Jersey, and today I'm going to make another no-knead bread because I know everybody loves them. And today we're doing a cranberry walnut bread that is, it's out of this world. That's all I can say. So, recipe and all that jazz all below. And I made some changes to my recipe. We're never too old to learn something new. And even though I've been baking bread for many, many years, I'm changing something a little bit. I'll share it with you. All right, so I have 3½ cups all-purpose flour. I've got my 2 teaspoons of yeast right there. I've got 2 teaspoons of kosher salt right there, and I put them on opposite sides so that if I walk away I have a visual. I'm going to get them mixed up. All right, now in this bread I do like a little bit of cinnamon. It's kind of an option, but I do like it, and I'm going to go with about a teaspoon of cinnamon, because I just want there to be, this is not like cinnamon raisin bread, but I want there to be a little kiss of cinnamon. Hey, if you really love cinnamon and you want to add more, go for it. All right, let me mix that in. Okay, ooh, very nice, that blast of cinnamon, love it. All right, so I've got, this is a cup measure. I just want, to give everyone a visual here. So this is some roughly chopped walnuts. You could use pecans if you want to. And I'm using roughly a cup, 3/4 to a cup of roughly chopped walnuts. And then I've got my craisins here. These are my roughly the same thing, 3/4 to a cup, okay? Putting it all in here. So I'm going to mix this all around, just getting it distributed. Okay. All right, so now here's where I'm making a bit of a change. The recipe calls for 1 2/3 cup of warmish water, and I've got that right here, 1 2/3 cup. You know that if you pour this in, it's going to be a very wet dough. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to pour in half of this, roughly half. I'm eyeballing it. I like to stir with the handle of my spoon here, and I'm going to start mixing it up. Look, if you put in too much water, you can't remove it, but you can always add additional water, and I'm kind of going on that theory, because I don't want this to get too wet. All right, I think that I do need a little bit of water, and this is what I have left. I have about 3/4 of a cup of water left. I'm going to add, slowly, not a lot, so it doesn't have to get super duper wet. All right, I am going to switch to a spatula now to finish mixing, just a little bit, I think, easier. All right, so I feel like I still need a little bit more of the liquid. And you know what? It happens, I'm noticing that it's winter here in New Jersey where I live. And depending on where you live, the air is dry, the air is wet. It's depending on the ambient temperature. In my kitchen right now, I have a thermometer. It's like 69 degrees. And I notice that it really does seem to have an effect on the yeast and when I'm baking. So I just added a little more water. I'm just going to get in here. That I might have done enough. Let's see. A little bit more. I'm adding maybe like a tablespoon barely at a time. Still have water left over, and I think this is going to do it. Scrape the sides of the bowl. All right, I am very happy. I'm very satisfied with how this looks. Let me kind of show the camera what I've got here. All right, just making sure there's no pockets of flour, but everything is nicely hydrated. Turning it over and looking around. Okay, this is the way I like it. All right, so let me just kind of bring it together here. You know, again, you do this in real time, it's going to go a lot quicker. Okay, so I'm going to cover this up. I am going to put this, normally I would put this inside of my oven, not lit, but I'm going to use my oven. So I'm going to put this actually in my laundry room where it's very, very draft free. And I have a great big thick bath towel, and I'm going to wrap it around here so it's nice and cozy, and the dough will rise beautifully. This is going to proof for 2 to 2.5 hours. So let's get this to proofing, and I'll see you back in a little bit, okay? Okay, so I have a swap that I created several hours ago. This has been proofing for about 2.5 hours, and let me uncover it. And you can see that, oh, this has risen nicely. Okay, there it is. Looks very, very good. So what we're going to do for the second proof, so the first thing we have to do is we have to get it out of the bowl. And I'm going to use my dough scraper. If you don't have a dough scraper, I think it's really handy. You can use a spatula, of course, but I do like my dough scraper. All right, I'm putting it on a piece of parchment paper. And you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to make things, and you notice too, I've not touched the dough. I've not had to handle it at all. Got this bowl. And that's why I put it on a piece of parchment paper. And I'm going to put that aside. That's going to proof for about 40 minutes. Now, during those 40 minutes, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to light my oven to 450 degrees. In the oven, get that out of the way, I'm putting in my Dutch oven covered. All right, so I recently purchased this Dutch oven. It's a 4-quart Dutch oven. And previously, if you've watched my bread making videos, I was using something else, and it was about 5 quarts. It was a cast iron oven for 5 quarts. All right, I always felt the bread didn't have enough. It was too big. Let's put it that way. It was too big, and the bread kind of flopped a little bit, and I didn't like that. This is definitely smaller. It's 4 quarts. It's got straight sides, and the bread can just, it's forced to come up. All right, I love this. I'll put a link to it. Naturally, I bought it on Amazon. All right, so this is going to go, and so I think it does make a difference. For this size recipe, I think the 4-quart is perfect. All right, putting this in the oven, 450 degrees, let everything heat up. Even though my oven is going to go off, you know, it's going to tell me that the oven is preheated. This needs to get screaming hot, and that's going to take 35-40 minutes. Meanwhile, this is on its second proof. So I will be back as soon as this is done in about 40 minutes, okay? See you in a bit. Okay, it's been 40 minutes. My Dutch oven was in the oven getting super duper hot. It's screaming hot. Got to wear my super deluxe gloves to get it out of here. So here is the bread. Rose nicely. So what I'm going to do, and again, you're going to be super careful here, putting this down. I'm going to lift this out by the parchment paper. Again, one of the reasons I like using the parchment paper. And very, very carefully place this in the Dutch oven. Now let's get the lid back on. This is going to, wait, let's get the lid back on so we don't, no accidents, please. All right, this is going back into my 450 degree oven for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'm going to take the top off, and let it go for an additional maybe like 6 to 8 minutes. It depends on how brown and crusty you want it. I don't like it to go too far, and for me about 6 or 7 minutes is the sweet spot. So let me get this in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, here is the loaf of bread that it's still very hot. Just came out of the oven. This has to cool. 30 minutes in the oven, covered. I took the cover off and it was in the oven, I want to say 6 more minutes. And that was enough for me. This one I created the other day. And I baked it off earlier. And I'm just taking a piece and I'm going to try it with a little bit of grape jelly. I mean, tell me that this would not be a fantastic addition to your holiday table, for brunch, for a midnight snack, for just about anything. It's so good. Oh my God. Slice it, toast it. I never made French toast with this, but you know what? I bet that would be absolutely delicious. Try that. Let me know in the comments. Continue to like and subscribe. We're thrilled that our station is really growing, and that's all because of you, and we really appreciate. And you keep me inspired. And listen, get in the kitchen and bake something. It's so worth it. Okay? Until next time, we'll see you next time on Secret Kitchens of New Jersey. Happy holidays, everyone. See you soon.